Charlie, how you doing? Good morning, everybody. I'm Captain Tommy Scoville, and you are on the lifeboat. Got a little earlier today. That's because I got my computer to work the way it was supposed to. And when my computer works the way it's supposed to, then I'm able to actually fire this thing up on time, which sometimes is a stretch. You know what I mean? Like if Squirrel happens to be standing on things, that causes a real problem. So let's see here. Bear with me, peeps. I'm just trying to get this phone. Okay, get this phone set up and under control so we don't have to listen to it. All right. Any hoot. There were a couple emails that went through that I got that are probably going to be ugly. I got a Fiverr says that this notification didn't go out, Charlie, because it's just you and me, and usually that's odd for my morning video. But if the notifications don't go out, it's not. So here's the deal. I got some emails that, for lack of a better way to put it, are just not very nice. And you got every right. If you want to vent about a show I do, especially if you're not cursing or making it personal, and they really didn't. They used the word abandon a lot, and a lot of other terms that weren't so nice to describe me leaving the lifeboat. And I'm not leaving the lifeboat. Maybe I did a bad job of explaining this, but I'm leveling up. I need to be able to work on the lifeboat the way that the lifeboat needs to be worked on. And I can't do that while I'm shooting 2 videos a day. Simply put, I cannot do it and then pull off 2 hours a day. So I'm getting some stuff put together so that we're always going to have a steady stream of this type of content where people can come together and just sort of talk and, share in this journey. And one of the great things is, if you've ever been to any meetings in the real world, where they, have a guest speaker night where somebody gets up and talks about their addiction. Proud of you, M. Hunt. Where somebody gets up and talks about their addiction. It's probably not a very nice thing to say, but I've never been to one of those that had a speaker that could speak. I mean, it's usually a real challenge, but that's not what it's about. It's really about just the fellowship of people coming together and leaning on one another and showing the new guy that there are old guys, that there are people who made it out of the forest. 3 weeks. That's impressive, my friend. That is truthfully impressive. You are well on the way to happiness and merriment. I believe this. Yeah, I absolutely believe that. So stay the course, my man. Stay the course. Stand for truth. Good to see you. Yeah, I don't think notifications went out this morning at all because I didn't get one on. I keep one device here. That way, if by some chance I don't go live and I think I'm live, I'm not going to hear it over here. So when I hear it on the other one, I turn it down. But I didn't even get a notification on that this morning. And not exactly sure why. I didn't even talk bad about the big red button last night or anything. But there are some people that are very angry at me who say I'm abandoning the boat. I am going to be doing shows on this channel every single week, at least, for the rest of my life. I just am not going to be doing 14 of them a week. And I want to make sure that there's all kinds of stuff for people to come and spend time with one another. So if that makes me a sellout or a traitor or any of the other terms I got accused of, I had somebody say to me, "Yeah, I could tell you were drinking in one of your videos." But I guess you're leaving because of the alcohol thing. Holy hell, man! I drink in every video. This today happens to be water, but usually it's lemonade or iced tea. But they come out of the woodwork. You make an announcement of any kind, and they come out of the woodwork to say some really ugly things. I'll miss doing Daily Tommy too. I'll be honest with you. I'm gonna miss that. However, if I had the ability to show you everything that is in the works for this channel, you people would be saying, "Go, leave now, go, go, go," because there's really, really exciting things in the future for the lifeboat. I mean, there are really, really exciting things. I don't care who does what to themselves. I swim in cannabis. It doesn't hurt anybody. Tommy might drink. It doesn't hurt anybody. We're here to fight addictions. Yeah, the thing is, I really don't like the buzz. I don't like the buzz of alcohol. I never liked the feeling of losing control at any level. And alcohol always made me feel like I was losing control. You got to realize that my first like real entree into drugs or booze was probably with the older people that I trained with in skiing, because they were degenerates. So as soon as you showed up, they wanted to get the grommets high and drunk. And I found out really early that I could smoke pot and go ski and do backflips and do everything I do. But one beer, man, and I was in danger to myself. I may not feel even a buzz, but my equilibrium was shot. And yeah, that was about all I needed to learn about that. That's what alcohol is, losing control. Absolutely. And it does it in 3 different phases, right? And the first one you don't notice. That's the insidious part of the substances that you're not going to notice. The first one, Hunt and crew. And the first one is where, this is your decision-making process. This is your inhibitions and your decision-making process. So when that one starts to get lowered, this is why so many people who say, yeah, I'm just going to have one drink. Just going to have one drink. That one drink lowers the inhibition and they go, one drink didn't hurt me. Let's pound a case. I have no problem with what you're doing in your life, M. Hunt. No problem at all. Do what you do. Do what you do. This is an anti-addiction channel. I did get an email probably about a week ago from somebody that said, I love coming by your channel and just listening to stuff. And the people seem really, really cool. But I'm not looking to quit anything. This person's like, maybe I'm in that phase you're talking about when you first start and things are still fun. He's like, because I'm having a good time. So I'm like, great. Just watch yourself. Try to not let it get any wind behind it. Does that say Bengals? I have really bad eyes. I have flashbacks to Walk Like an Egyptian. Oh yeah, one of these guys. Let's see. Yeah, probably a dial roll-on thing to smuggle stuff from one prison yard to another. They had these little thin numbers, but they were perfect to keister large amounts of dope. Somebody do me a favor and escort Bengals or whoever he is to the door, because I have a feeling he's not one of us. Or you know what? Give him a chance. Give him a chance. Maybe I'm being tough. Maybe this person's going to turn out to be one of the nicest people you've ever come across. I kind of doubt it. But let's see something here. Let's see here. Oh, I can't do that. That, people? That's sad. That's one of the problems with having a crap load of platforms kind of a thing. You feel me? So yeah, it's just simply not working, and that's all there is to that. Good morning, Scoob. I didn't think you were here this morning. It is good to see you, Scoob. It really is. I hope everything is going well with the car situation and everything else. I hope you're streamlining it and getting the license. That would be a really good one. You don't see the person that I'm seeing? Well, that's bizarre, isn't it? Ah, do you know what they did? They're slick. No, they're still here. Did you see the comment right under my face now? Don't do anything to them. Let's let this we'll let this person hang around for a little while. But kind of whatever he does in his spare time, and like you can't really be angry at him. I was thinking of just getting rid of the guy, but then I thought, or gal, but then I thought, hey, you know what? It's an anti-addiction channel. So unless he's addicted to shoving something up his bum, then I say we let him keep rolling, right? Just seems the right thing to do. Good morning, Virginia. Good to see you. I'm guessing, my friend, that you're new to the channel, and that's all good. That's all good. We're running a slightly different intro. There's about 6 channels out there, maybe 5 now. I think one is gone, and they're content creators, but the only content that they create is saying something crappy about a Scoville, and we just protect the rest of the we just protect the rest of the crew, as that's the goal. Dennis N, good to see you, my man. Dennis, I need a email from you on the sober at my Yahoo. I switched stuff from one computer to another, and I basically lost everything I had ever saved in terms of just connections. So what I need to do is have you send me something back. All it's got to say is, hey, what's up? But I woke up this morning and I was wanting to send you something about the 5th, like Cinco de Mayo kind of stuff. And I did not have the ability to grab it, but trying to put something together for Cinco de Mayo. If I'm not mistaken, today is Uno de Mayo, right? Is this this is the 1st, is it not? Pretty sure it is. It is the 1st of May. Oh, I love water. I didn't for a long time, but I'm really starting to get a real appreciation for ice cold water. Although when you drink it out of metal, I mean, I love that thing because it keeps stuff really, really cold. But I kind of wish it was glass lined or something, because you do get that kind of that metallic taste a little bit. It is Monday. Oh, I'm glad you said that, Scoob, because I got to do recycling today. And I had already forgotten. I promise you I would have crawled right into bed and done nothing. I was up last night, people, another one of those nights that I just could not get to sleep. There's a trend in the United States these days to just shut down on Mondays. There's also a trend to go to less than a 40-hour work week, because that's just too much time, so they're talking about cutting it down. They've never really specifically said specifically said what they want to have up their bum. Yep. Charlie Mullins. You see our friend here, Charlie? Kick his ass off the boat. Thank you. Yeah, you gotta go. I'm quite serious, people. Remove him, or I'll just go on there and do it myself. That's all right. And that's just unfortunate because it kind of slows down what I'm doing, and that's... Here we go. And then we'll just do this one more time. Let's see something. One subscriber, no videos. Wow. This Jack Wagon's been around a while. What a shame. Bye-bye. No, you're not actually. You're part of a whole group of people that, yep, bye-bye. I'm sorry, peeps. That's just the way it goes. And I hate having to do this. This computer is not hooked up to, because we have to use heavy equipment to go live these days. Instead of just using a phone or a regular laptop. This is a laptop, but it's not being used for that. This laptop is being used to regulate all of the stuff like a mixing board, right? So this is basically just designed to do one thing. And that one thing isn't running the YouTube channel. So I got to go over here. If I want to see how long somebody has been had a channel or anything like that, then yeah, that there's no way to do that on here. There's also no way to block someone or kick them off. And the beautiful thing is this: if you're trying to get sober, you can watch the Lifeboat. Every single person I've ever kicked off can watch the Lifeboat, or any person you've ever kicked off. It's not like they can't see the channel. It's not like they can't hear everything I'm saying. They just can't put up comments. And I'm sure people think that, we overreact and all of that. But what it comes right down to is this. We've had people come on here and lay some really heavy stuff in the comment section. I think the heaviest that I can remember is a girl who came on asking for help because she had 2 family members that had, sexually molested her for a long period of time. I don't think that's a comment she would have dug. So if I'm going to err, I'm going to err on the side of cautious. There are a lot of people that say, you don't do that because, those people are just going to unsubscribe, and people, that's never been about that. It really hasn't. And it's never going to be about that. So I'm sorry if you guys think I'm too harsh. I'm all for any kind of joke you want. But if I say, hey, back it off, you can stick around, and they do it a second time, they're just trying to push buttons, and those people got to go. Your guitar is calling. I won't be mad at you. Pick up your guitar. I will not be mad at you at all. Yeah, my vision just is not what it used to be, which stinks because I got to lean in really close. The sad thing is I've got it blown up. I mean, honestly, like each message is about this big. And if that light wasn't on, because I got a big, huge light shining in my face, if that light was not in my face, I could very easily read what you're saying. But I kind of got to duck in under the light if I want to be able to do it. So that is what it is, right? It is what it is. So I got the first videos sent over yesterday for the person that is going to be starting to take some shifts on the Lifeboat. And they basically wanted me to critique the job the person did. So it was basically like them going live, but they weren't going live, just to get kind of accustomed to, this is long format. Talking for an hour is a pretty long format program, especially if you do more than one a week. If you're doing one a week, coming on and pulling 2 or 3 hours is not that big a deal. But if you're doing it 2 times a day, then it really kind of becomes an issue. But the videos that came over were amazing. And I really kind of thought they would stink. I'm not being like, hey, I'm the only one who can do it. My early videos were all bad. You kind of have to get used to it. And I think it's a lot harder to do this if you don't know people are listening. When people are listening, it gives you sort of like audiences do something for somebody that's in front of a camera or on a stage or anything else. If you feel like you're connecting with people, I tried shooting these things and then putting them as instant premieres. And I think I only did 2 that way because It just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel like a meeting. Oh, wow. Well, be careful, Scoob. I would not be in a vehicle with no brakes. I'm just saying. Uh, that's like on the list of things that cars absolutely have to have, right? A big one would be, um, yeah, brakes. A radio is important. You got to have a radio. I think that's important. Perhaps the ability to play music on some other platform like MP3 or CD, so you could pick whatever it is you want. However, I'd still start off with the brakes. It's kind of essential. If you don't have the ability to stop that 2,000-pound thing that you're riding around in, then that's pretty much no longer a car. It's just like a missile. Oh, I got you. Dennis N., please be safe. Please be safe. So here I was last night. I thought I was going to bed. I didn't think last night was going to be another one of those insomnia nights. But boy, it was. The difference between insomnia when you're sober and insomnia when you're a drug addict is like the difference between, burning yourself, getting a sunburn, spending too much time, or somebody hitting you with a blowtorch. When I couldn't sleep while I was in recovery, especially early on, it was just 8 hours of ants. Now I just bust out a notebook. I start writing, and I actually got quite a bit done. And I started listing out all of the things that I wanted to do for shows. And then I thought, so which one of these? Because I got like 6 or 7 show ideas already written down. And I was like, you know what? It's Monday morning. I'm just gonna go on and talk to the crew. Virginia, good idea. She says, Scoob, take a power nap. She's right. Take a power nap. You know what a power nap is? Try to get a little bit more blood from your legs into the rest of your body. So slightly elevate your legs and take a nap. Now, I'm not a doctor, but I am wicked lazy. And I have done more power napping than almost anybody on the planet. You can't? I'm sorry to hear that. I am sorry to hear that. Well, this too shall pass, Scoob. You will be, I promise you will be feeling better. Power naps. I'm a big proponent of, laying down and just busting out like an hour. And if you do it all the time, then it's really possible. Like, you ever fall asleep at work and start dreaming? Like instantly? That's a beautiful thing. If you could power nap and start dreaming as soon as you went out, I think that, the really important part of sleep for a lot of us isn't the resting of the body, but it's the uncaging of the mind. It's letting our mind work through all the things that were just too difficult to work through during the day. I'm fascinated by dreams. Good to see you awakened by the looking glass reflection. Monk. Glad you're here. Charlie, Charlie is one of the all-time great moderators. Worked so hard for this channel from the very first day. Him and Seventh Son, and just the people that have been here like forever. Like, it's hard to remember a time of your life where they weren't there. I love having you guys. I really do. I am not a napper. Enough change somewhere in my house for at least a cheap cup of drink, like a coffee kind of a thing. Or were you? You're not a napper. I really, really used to dig just pulling like 1 to 2 hours during the day, especially like if I'm on the road. If I'm going someplace to speak, That is really the only way that things used to work for me. I'm not a guy that does great in hotel rooms. I'm not a guy that does great sleeping in places other than my own bed once I'm used to my own bed and my own room. So you go on the road and you're just in a different room every 2 or 3 days. So I would just end up for way too much time until I couldn't take it anymore. And I would power nap for 2 or 3 hours and then jump up and do the show. And then as soon as it was over, go up and power nap for a few. I kind of had to get myself to exhausted in order to sleep, which is kind of sad, but I struggle with that still. What? Oh, you had a pro boxing match? How about that? Well, that's pretty impressive. Chase the Heat. It's my brother, Joni Scoville. That's my famous brother. That's my legend brother. Good. You're up early, huh? Usually you don't catch the AM show. Pretty impressed. I am assuming that is that Odin. I'm going to call you Odin until I know otherwise. Equus, good to see you. Happy that you're here. Yeah, you got to be exhausted. I don't wake up yelling and punching, but I've also found that if I sleep on my back, if I fall asleep on my back, I get terrifying nightmares. The kind of stuff where I get the sleep paralysis, where in your dream you wake up, so you think you're awake, but you can't move your body, and what you're really doing is dreaming. But it's a terrifying feeling. It really is. And sometimes you can wake up 2 and 3 times in the dream. Like you think to yourself, this isn't real. This is a dream. I just got to wake up. And then in my dream, I'll be like, I've never had a painting on that wall. And right around that time, something scary will jump out and make me really, really uncomfortable. I think, Odin, I think it has something to do with, if you think about like your respirations on your back. I don't know, for me anyway. When I was a youngin', right, in my teens, I had really, really bad sleep apnea. I would stop breathing and then make this incredible noise. I was the worst snorer in the world. I got on airplanes and people would wake me up and be like, man, you can't snore on this airplane like that. Like, they would they'd get really angry. And if I had 1 or 2 beers or, I had taken a pill or anything, forget it. I would get so loud snoring, especially if I was on my back. And one of my road crew guys who I cared about a lot said to me, if you don't get something done about that, I quit. Like, I'm not going on the road with you. We had a flight in first class and everybody on the plane wanted to kill me. So I woke up and we get off the plane. We're going down to baggage claim because we were flying in a bunch of stuff in the briefcase, like stuff for the show, books, collateral material, things like that. And as I'm walking, I'm looking around. I'm like, boy, these people are all dicks. You know what I mean? All of them look angry as hell. He's like, dude, they're mad at you. I'm like, what did I do? Anyway, I had a doctor remove my tonsils. And when he did, he kind of took a laser and just, got rid of anything that he thought might be causing sleep apnea. So I have the uvula and nothing else. That's that little thing that used to hang between my tonsils and now just sort of hangs at the back of my throat. Good to see you, Luke Skywalker. Glad you're here. JT, good to see you. So once that was gone, I very rarely make any noise. But if I sleep on my back, it's that I think it's almost like we're not getting enough oxygen in. And I may be way off base, man. I'm not a doctor or a psychologist or anything like that. In fact, my degree was in communication. So probably not the guy, but yeah, laying on my back, it is guaranteed. It's like that. Yeah, I know I'm getting more oxygen into my body if I'm laying on my side. When I lay on my back, My tonsils rotted away through infections. Oh my goodness, that doesn't sound good. Welcome, full of hope. Good to see you. Stand for truth. I don't think I said hello to you this morning. So I'd kind of like to just make. I'd kind of like to make Mondays sort of just we're going to get together and all just kind of talk. I think it's healthy. Virginia, I cannot sleep without a body pillow. I got to have something between my knees. That's really tough for me. When I was incarcerated, they weren't even giving out pillows at most yards. So you had to kind of build one yourself. You find anything that you can stuff into a pillowcase and then you sew it up. And if you were lucky enough, where somebody could cut up a mattress and get the foam out of it, you could make a pretty decent pillow. But I would always take the jacket, because any yard you go to, even if it's the middle of the summer, you're getting issued a big jacket. And you got to hold on to it for all year or you're bumming. But that was the thing I used to stick between my knees. Now I'm like the 3-pillow person. I probably need to get that one that looks like a swan. I don't know if you've seen that. To me, it looks like the coolest invention. It's like a candy cane. I think they call it the swan, but it looks like a candy cane. And so you've got this kind of a hooked rig that goes, cooks under this way, so your head hangs on it. And it's just, you got this thing to hug basically the whole time you sleep. I think it's awesome. Luke Skywalker says, I cleaned my place today. Made my bed. I've had a pinched nerve in my neck causing trouble. I'm sorry to hear about the pinched nerve, but I like the idea that you're getting up and starting to do what you need to do in order to proclaim to the world, I'm not living the way I used to. I'm a different cat. I'm not an addict. Everything is new. Everything, it starts today. You know what? Full of hope. That makes a lot of sense. She says that while pregnant, she learned the benefit of a knee pillow. I think for me, it's that I have screwed my knees up beyond repair. I've had a lot of knee surgeries. Fortunately, I never had a total where you blow out a knee. Mine was always them going in and sucking out floating cartilage and pieces of things that were floating around from moguls and whatever. The body pillow rocks. I agree, Equus. I'm telling you, that was one of the biggest slap in the face. When you're living in the real world and you get put away, and you're not even getting a pillow. I'm like, I need a body pillow. Like, where can I buy one of those? They're like, yeah, for the rest of your life, that won't be an option. I said, no, I'm not doing that much time. Rick Smith, glad you're here. Good morning. Yeah, I never thought of it as something that would help the back. I really didn't. No, I've never had an ACL. I've never blown it out. It's just always been cartilage. From skiing moguls, your bones just keep doing this one, and they would split off small parts of. I have a round cylinder shaped knee pillow that I use. I kind of like the idea of that too. Maybe they're not running the candy cane thing in your country yet. If I don't know that I've seen it any place but on TV, but I'll try to see if I can snap a photo of it. It is a really, really cool concept. It's basically the entire setup. So you don't need anything else on the bed. It's where you put your head. It's everything. 3 ACLs in my family of 3. I was always more afraid of that than anything in the world, because in an anterior cruciate ligament tear, like, you blow out your ACL and you're no longer really skiing like you used to. You know what? I kind of like that comment. Odin says routines, like making the bed, helps provide something that you can expect. An expectation is a good contrast to the stress and the uncertainty. I like it. I really do. I think that that's a pretty cool concept, and I could probably ponder that for a while. For me, it was really just a matter of I wanted something that I was setting a goal for as absolutely early in the morning as I possibly could. Because what I found in my existence these days is that if I set a goal and I achieve that goal, the odds of me achieving the next one are really, really excellent. I see the bed being made and control in your life. You know what, Johnny? I'm not sure what that comment means. I'm not that bright. I see the bed making mode. Yeah, I have no idea what that says. So I wanted a really early goal. Making the bed was a really early goal. And as I started to look at everything else in my life, you get people that decide that they want to quit doing drugs or alcohol. And very often, really early in the game, like a month, 3 weeks, 2 months, the person gets this. Oh, there you go. Making my bed is me taking control. Yeah, that's kind of what it was for me. But here's the other big thing. Everybody gets to this point where they say, I want to change the world, right? I want to change the world. I want to save the world. I want to save the whales. I want to stop global warming. I want to make sure that every kid has this, or make sure the kids don't have this. And my advice would be, if you want to change the world, you better change everything in your room before you even think about changing the world, right? Because if you can't change your room, I'm obsessed with cleaning my teeth. If I haven't done the works on those pearlies, I'm not good. I like it. That's something that, very early in the morning, Full of Hope says the same thing. Oh, that is Full of Hope. Why did I think Tommy Bird said that? Virginia says, you have water skied and snow skied. I was not very good at water skiing. I tried it 2 or 3 times. I didn't like the idea of the surface underneath my ski moving. I was very used to that surface being hard. If I tried to make up my bed, I would have to fight. Oh, yeah. Well, we can't have that. That would be all bad. Sometimes Squirrel will get the bed made a little later in the day if she's looking particularly cute. I will put her off for a period of time. But I was overwhelmed with everything in my life. And Q said, just knock out one thing a day. And we would come back from work. And it wasn't even an 8-hour day, really. You're down there 8 hours, but you don't work 8 hours because they got to count you twice and you got to go to lunch. But it's still a long day. It's kind of exhausting. You're on your feet the entire time. But as we went back into the unit, and it was a worker dorm, so the only people in there, they all worked the Unicore. And he would walk into to my cell and go, what are you going to do today? Like, pick something. And I would look around and be, I was so accustomed to living in filth. And I'm like, oh, it's looking pretty good. And he's like, no. And he starts pointing this out and that out. Why the hell is that on the floor? Seriously, that's a good place for it. And just starting to dissect, how I look. And he said, it's prison. It's a crappy little cell. It's 14 feet deep. And it's 7 feet wide? Doesn't matter, does it? It really doesn't. But when you get out in the real world, how you appear and how you feel about yourself is going to determine how far you get in life. If you walk around with your shoulders slumped forward, feeling really depressed, everybody that makes eye contact with you has already made a decision on who and what you are. That's sad, but it's true. And even if they're only doing it subconsciously, if you roll your shoulders back a little bit and you take deep breaths of oxygen, right? It does more than just fill up the chest and make you look like, it really does change your attitude and your physiology and all of that. So for me, by banging out the bed, making the room look good, my probation officer has showed up here I don't know how many times. But he walked into the room and saw the made bed And literally, that was, for him, that was a bigger deal than the fact that I had passed every drug test, and there's been a bunch of drug tests. In the beginning, they were pretty much every day. But I think he was far more impressed by the bed. And do you know why? Because he probably has never sent somebody back that gets up every morning, makes their bed, right? The people who the light bulb goes off, and I'm not saying you have to make your bed to remain sober. There are tons of people that don't make their bed and they'll remain sober. I could not be one of them. I could not be one of them. I would be lighting a torch to my previous life. And I just simply cannot do that. Rollerblade. When I watch people that are good at that, if my brother Johnny's here, he'll tell you a funny story about rollerblading. I like that. Full of Hope says she's going to keep that grill really shiny because it's something that she has control over. That's a beautiful thing too. It really is. These are great points from a philosophical point of view, right? The bed, you have control over that. There are so many things in life that are going to be chaotic, and there's nothing that we can do about it. But your bed, you have control over that. It doesn't have to be chaotic. You can make that thing look perfect. You can make the room, the house, the car, whatever, look perfect. And you will feel better about yourself. But every time the guy comes in, I'm always like, come on, let me show you the room. And in my past life, when I was a degenerate, my PO would come over to the house and he'd lift the mattress up a little bit, check some closets, want to see what I had in the refrigerator, if there was any booze or anything like that in the refrigerator, and he'd walk around and look for like a gun safe or anything like that. Now, they were snooping. I mean, not hardcore, but they were definitely snooping. This guy comes in, walks upstairs, checks out, how well the room is. Every single thing I have is on hangers. And at this point, they're all color coordinated, right? So like all the white shirts are right here. And then, currently I only have about 6 shirts up there. Everything is packed. But I got really into organizing my life. And once my life was organized, well, that was about the 31st of July, right? 2 Julys ago. So to my brother and to the world, I basically said, all right, I had just come out from Oakland and I needed to get all my stuff moved in and I needed to get everything where I felt like I was in control. Why? There was nothing that looked like the old Tommy. And then I just fired it up. I turned on the camera and shot the first video, which if you've never seen is really bad. It's not a particularly good one. Good for you, Tommy Bird. King of the Hill. Lawn care. He actually had 2 things though, didn't he? He was pretty fond of propane and propane accessories. That may have just been a job, but it was a passion. He referred to butane as the bastard gas. That show used to crack me up. That show really used to make me laugh. What's really funny is that's now considered old school, right? I mean, I remember that like it was yesterday, but apparently, that's a spinoff of the Beavis and Butthead show. They went into his RV, Hank Hill. Yeah, it's hard not to love King of the Hill. Boom Hour? Let's see. You know what? Yeah, we're talking like 1990. I think I started watching that in 90. No, I did start watching it in 90, if not 91. I remember the people in my life at that time. Because one of them I called Boom Hour. And it was legit because that's how the guy talked. He's always mumbling something out there. That's the key, I think. Full of Hope says the characters are well developed. If you look at The Simpsons have been putting up a 30-minute show basically since I was in junior high. Something like that. They have been on the air really an eternity. One time with Johnny, while we were still using we were at a condo that he was living in, and they put on a Simpsons marathon. And occasionally, like Matt Groening would come on and answer, the interviewers' questions or whatever. But for the most part, they're just showing you one right after the other, right? And it was like 8 or 9 days, like nonstop through the night into the morning. Yeah, there's a lot of content. And I love Futurama. All of those are great. But if you look out over, there's not one person in The Simpsons in all of Springfield that isn't a character, right? There are hundreds of characters, and you know who every one of them is, because even down to like what should be extras, people just sort of walking by, the guys that are very rarely have anything to say are still really well developed. Hey, what's going on over here? The slack-jawed yokel, really a funny. The concepts for all of those were great. Now, I love the cartoons, the adult cartoons of today, but once again, everything is moving a little too nasty, a little too political. Yeah, King of the Hill, that whole genre, Futurama. I watched Futurama until I couldn't anymore. When that was something that they used to put on late night at prison, and at one time I had a top bunk. And the window to my cell happened to perfectly line up. So I could sit on my bunk or lay on my bunk and actually watch TV that was out in the other room, even when the doors were locked. So I would get the remote control at night and I would just sit in there and click through, but I would put it on Futurama and watch hours of it. Simpsons, I've heard they're repeating old ideas. Scoob, I don't know how they could do anything that wasn't. Dale, when he takes his hat off, just the unbelievable white below that. Yeah, that was beautifully done. They did. Kimberly makes a really good point. They predicted a lot of stuff happening now. Gone, Maggie, Gone is about the C plus math. They predicted that the T-Man would be president. And I'm talking about long before he even thought about running. It's really bizarre the number of things that Springfield has sort of kicked onto to the new world. Full of Hope, that would be a really nice thing, but believe it or not, I have it. I have every season on DVD. Sadly, they're packed up right now, but I would say almost any of the original cartoons except The Simpsons. I bought all of their seasons because I love them. Team America and South Park is pretty funny. A bit cross at points. Yeah, they are, no question. But what made them cool is they treated everybody the same. You know what I mean? Like they would do a show that just offended Catholics. And then they would do a show that offended Muslims. And then they would do a show that offended Jews. And then they went after the Scientologists. And, they're going to hit everybody. They're not going to pick on, they're not mean to one group of people. They're mean to everybody. You just have to sort of take your turn. Poor Kenny. You bastards. Can you imagine pitching any of these ideas for cartoons? This is one of the things that really kind of, I think to myself, Seth MacFarlane is really hardcore. He went into the people at Fox and said, all right, here's the idea. There's this family and they're all kind of stupid, except for the dog who's pretty intelligent. He drives a Prius, right? And the baby can talk, but the only person who hears him talk is the dog. And there's a guy who's a recurring character. He's going to be coming on virtually every week. His name is Mr. Herbert. And I can't even say what Mr. Herbert is or they'll demonetize this, but you know what he is. He's one of those people that are really fond of girls or boys that happen to be boys in general, way under the age of 18. And they pitched this to the people at Fox. The people at Fox must have been going, what? You want to put that as a recurring character? Yeah, it's going to be funny as hell. crazy. But boy, oh boy, it's been on a long time. Yeah, absolutely right. Comedy, the comedy of the 80s, man, they hacked on everybody. They really did. If you put on Eddie Murphy, comedian Eddie Murphy Raw, um, Dice, right? The Dice Man cometh. You watch any of those comedians from the 80s, and it was a competition to see if you could do a show that did not leave out anybody to offend. And they made jokes about everything, about sexuality, about religion, about everything. But for the people that panic about it, and I kind of feel like I was panicking for a while on the free speech thing. Now I'm just panicked that we're going to lose the world, period. Because if our country sticks around, Lenny Bruce went through this in the 50s, right? The comedian Lenny Bruce was the first dude to get up on stage and drop F-bombs. Then they used to arrest him. And when you start to do anything where you force people to not do something, the following generation is going to do the exact opposite. That's just the way it goes. I think that this is one of those situations where you pull the bowstring and it snaps farther back than where it was originally. So we're not just going to get, the next incarnation is going to be some really conservative people. What scares me is we might get frighteningly conservative, right? Where they go a little past that into the frightening. Because that conservatives do have the capacity for that. They absolutely have the capacity for that. But Lenny Bruce, got arrested for going on stage and dropping F-bombs. And then, all of the other people started to go blue. And that was the 50s, the 60s. So in the late 70s and early 80s, the comedians that were out then, like Richard Pryor, first guy to ever use the N-word like it was not how it had ever been used before, right? And he would just continue to drop it and made it cool and push the envelope. And his generation of comedy spawned the people like Sam Kinison, the Screamer, and Dice, and Eddie Murphy, and all of the great stand-ups from that time period. But see, they pushed it just a little farther, and they pushed it just a little farther, and that was it. For real, that was it. Right around the 90s, everything started to change. I've actually been doing deep dives and reading about this. But that early generation that caught the 90s, they were terrified about a lot of things because of how we dealt with all of the things in our life. So like condoms became a really important thing. That generation, actually started to practice intelligent, sex at an early age. And it really did have an effect. It was good stuff. I remember taking my fiance to see Sam Kinison. She kept punching me in the arm when I laughed. Well, then you had a black and blue arm, bro. I saw him in concert too. He was incredible. Ow, ow. he did like his comedy bit on donating money to people who are starving in other countries is the most offensive thing I've ever heard in my life. But you can't get through it without laughing. And you absolutely have to be able to do that. Now we have people who say, we may have to get rid of the First Amendment, right? We may have to make it so that you can't have freedom of speech. Why? Because people are using hate speech. We're going to allow freedom of speech. We're just not going to allow hate speech. What the hell other kind of speech needs to be protected? If you say nice things, right? But the ability to talk crap, built this country. The ability to drop jokes, because it goes from here and then it just keeps going. If you say, all right, the only thing you can't do is you cannot do this, this, or this, and we accept that crap, then we'll get to a point where they're arresting people because they made a joke about the president. That's where we'll be. I promise you. Hopefully you have more of it. Oh, no. Oh, no. Full of hope. There's an Irish author, and I'm trying to remember his name because I read a bunch of his stuff when I was inside. I read a bunch of his stuff, but his name is going to escape me because that's just sort of the nature of my life these days. People are using hate speech against those whom they are accusing about hate speech. No, it's a really astute thing to say because that absolutely makes a lot of sense. Monk, 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 monk. Do you hear my schnoz? I bought a Navage or got a Navage. Actually, I just bought the little capsules. You got to put a little thing inside that every time you use it. It's loaded with salt water and something to kill anything that's in there so that you don't risk whatever you're putting in there. But it fires a stream of water, and I mean a healthy stream of water up one nostril, and then it comes down the other. Best advice is turn your TV off. You will never hear a true statement on mainstream media. I like the term lamestream media, and I agree. I absolutely agree. Now, this is the hypocrite part, really. I leave a television set on in my house almost all the time, like almost around the clock, because I just need background noise. And I know what you guys are going to say, like put on some tunes. If I put on tunes, I am going to be right back to where I was the first time I heard that. So if I'm trying to get anything done, it's like each song that comes on, I just get lost in space for about 2 or 3 minutes of really, really living a memory, right? And then next song does the same thing. So if I put on the news as background noise, it just sounds like 2 or 3 people talking in the other room, but I don't have to deal with that deafening silence. I can't stand that. Hear that? Full of Hope has 6 couches here. That is an extreme number of couches for one person to have. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we have 3 in here, I think. 6 is a lot. Yeah, before I read Johnny's comment, so this thing that you fire up one nostril and down the other actually takes care of stuff for a decent amount of time. The trouble is, if you're so stuffed up that the water can't go up or come down, then you're screwed. And that's kind of where I'm at. And I've been like that all morning. The cat is not in the basket, but we've been here a really long time. I'm going to go get the cat. You guys just hold that thought, because I'm going to grab Squirrel, not Zephyr. She's hunting in the garage. Hey, Squirrel. Come on, Keith. There you go. Who's a good cat? Hey, come here. There you go. There you go. That's not what we're doing right now. We're going to be a very angry cat on camera. I have a cat that does not like being held. It's the one thing about Squirrel. Like, she's cool if her feet are down, but if you try to hold her like you would hold a normal cat, she gets really, really unhappy about it. Her favorite design is if her front and back legs are just hanging over my arm. So she likes to basically put her stomach on my arm, and she can sleep that way. I can walk around the house like that. She gets very, very happy. I like that, Virginia. It's a beautiful thing to say. And we are. I had 6 lazy boys. I got rid of them all. Cindy Fardy. All right, peeps. We are at the top of the hour. In fact, the countdown is at about 15 seconds. Yeah, I do use salted water. So this Navage thing is like, it's like a neti pot with an engine, right? But in order for it to work, you have to take this little capsule thing that's got tin foil on one side and plastic on the other, and you drop that in there, and then you shut it. And that's just a saline smash to the water that you put in. It's just a crap load of salt, basically. I'm about to swear my temporary ID is in my boyfriend's car too. Scoob, you need to take that ID and you need to like maybe staple it to your shoulder. Hon, we got to figure out one place you put that every single time you walk into the house. And I mean, like, you got to put it there and then say to your boyfriend, hey, check it out. See this? My ID is right here. If you do not do that, I promise you, Scoob, you'll be buying new ones. It's going to happen. You got to really, really find a place for that puppy. Yeah, that's unfortunate, Scoob. They're really, honestly, you got to find one place in the house where that thing lives, and it's got to be there. I see. I'm getting to the point now where I'm losing some brain power. You know, age does that, and I have to put hook by my door will work. You know what? I have to put everything. I have to have a place when I come in. Like right now, my wallet is in a little cupboard thing right above my printer on the second shelf. If it's not there, I screwed up massively. Because as soon as I come in, I take it out of my back pocket, I stick it there. Because if not, I'm going to lose it. Right? Guaranteed. And then the keys, there's a hook for, and the hook looks like a key. So that kind of, you know, makes it a little easier. And that big sticker on the back of this, you know why that's there? Because I would set this down, and if it was on something black, I would never be able to find it. So now the lifeboat sticker kind of jumps out at you and gives you the opportunity to find the thing, because I lose everything. Everything. But I didn't grab a jacket, so I didn't put it away. Okay. Well, that checks out. Squirrel. Ah, I hear that. Come here. Come on. Get over here. Alrighty, people. Come here. Yeah, she's just going to be an obstinate cat this morning. All right, peeps. I am Tommy Scoville. Johnny says he's fun to be around when he can't find something, too. You know, I'm working on that, though. I really am. I haven't broken anything in a really long time. That's the truth. I haven't thrown anything against a wall in a really long time. What's up, kitty? Yeah. Good morning. Yeah. All righty, peeps. That's the end of this puppy. I will be seeing you. Annette can't manage to get my 16 million pair of shoes put away. Well, you obviously have 3 pair of shoes too many. You know, for real. 16 million is a little over the top. The cutoff should be at least 3 less than that. Oh, good, squirrel. You turn off the live feed. That is a cat. Could you maybe move your head just a little bit, squirrel? It's all right. You don't have to move. I just want you to move your head. There you go.